good, isn't it, this race?
So we are on to the last day of Tuesday that we're going to preview, which is the National Hunt Chase. I feel like it's a bit of a topical theme for me to be annoyed at races before they've even happened. But I feel a little bit like that with the National Hunt Chase because I missed the boat with Galvin and he was so good at Cheltenham and it was just all so obvious. He's the right fav, and he probably still some value at 5-1. I'm just being an idiot to look for anything away for it, to be honest. There's got to be something at a big price. When jockey bookings and stuff come out for this race, there'll be things that are going to be like eye-catching, they're going to shorten up. But I can't look at anything in this race and just get excited to think that could be a bit of a price for it. And I think more than anything, I'm just sulking again about the fact that I missed the boat on Galvin. I think if someone said to me right now, you've got a £50 free bet, what are you going to stick it on? I would be sticking it on Galvin, and I just have to unfortunately admit that I missed the price like a clown and I'm an idiot. Matt, have you got anything, because you're a bit more excited about this race than I am, have you got anything you think at bigger prices could beat Galvin?
Did like pencil full of lead when I'd seen something from Connections that National Hunt Chase was the preferred target, but I don't know if that's changed now with the Easy Work sadly passing away. So well, if he came here, he'd definitely be of interest to me. Dickie Diver came back the other day. He was another interesting one. JP Colours, and I wondered if he might get the Derek O'Connor on board. But apart from that, mate, yeah, it's a struggle that you're looking down a list and you're thinking Monkfish ain't going to go there, obviously. Fury Road's not going to go there, obviously. Latest Exhibition you think could reoppose in the RSA. So, yeah, I'm struggling apart from that, Dave, to be honest with you.
I'm just thinking back for, obviously, last year there was Carefully Selected. What was the other one that was like short? But was it Cracking Smart, maybe? There was one when there was a Gigginstown horse that got injured near the festival. There was them two were like shortish for the race. But it's just the fact that went off so short. Like, Daryl, you were Galvin at Cheltenham, weren't you? Like, surely this horse goes off short on the day.
Yeah. This will Galvin will go off very short. I think it go off like 11 or 4-ish. I reckon. Yeah, I like him. I like him a lot. I think he's got everything. I think he's got everything for this race. The fact that they put him away after that win at Cheltenham and said this was a target, like they're going to train into the minute for this now. So they're going to, like, he's had what, 1, 2, 3, like he's had 4 runs since Cheltenham last year. 5 runs, 1, 2, 3, 4 runs since Cheltenham last year. Put him away, give him a nice break. He goes well fresh. Train into the minute for this race. He's got the class angle. He's done everything that you could have asked of him. He's got the form in the book. There's just literally hardly any negatives with him. Would he get the trip? Well, the time figures at Cheltenham when he won Beat Soldier of Love in the closing stages suggest he'll get further than 3 miles. You go back to the Imperial Aura run at the festival last year when he was second to Imperial Aura. He ran a faster closing sectional time than Imperial Aura did, so suggests he was going to get further than 3 miles. There's literally not a lot to really knock him for. I like him a lot for this. I think there are some other interesting angles in this race, though, because normally you find with this sort of race, the obvious angle is never the one to be on. The fact the favourites normally get turned over here. I think something like If the Cap Fits is an interesting runner if he goes here. I know, but he was staying on at the end of that 3 miles at Kempton. He looks slow to me. He always has, even over hurdles. He was over 2.5, and then you were saying, he needs 3 miles. You give him 3 miles. He needs bloody further. He needs a stiff 3 miles. This might be the making of him, this sort of trip. He's interesting at 20-1. There is a bit of a wild one in here as well. One for the team for Nick Williams. This horse is probably he's not got the class angle for this sort of race. Well, I suppose you don't really need a class angle for this sort of race. I mean, to take on the likes of Galvin, but this horse stays all day. He has got an engine. He is a little tank. He just is not quick enough between his flights to catch these horses over 3 miles. Behind Next Destination, behind Shamblu the last twice, behind McFabulous in the Grade 2 at Chepstow season opener. He's got some decent form in the book, and I just think this mammoth trip could really suit him. He's just one of those horses that keep giving and giving and giving. And I like those type of horses in this race. He's going to stay all day for you over 3 mile 6. He's a massive price. Whether he'd go here or not, I don't know. But I immediately thought after his Newbury run when he was behind the explanation, I immediately thought, God, if they had another half a mile onto this race, he would have won that. Like, you know, he's the type that I like for this sort of race. But Galvin would be number one choice straight away. I know it's boring. I know he's favourite, but I still think even 5-1 is great value, really, because I do think he's got short of this, and you know he's not going to have any mishaps on the way there. He's qualified. He's going straight there. There's not a lot not to like.
Yeah, fair enough. That all, to be fair, makes sense. Jamie, I've got a couple that I think are worth mentioning in a bit, so I'll let you tell me who needs to be mentioned before I drop those bad boys in there. Anyone you like?
I'm Galvin at a good price, Dave. Yeah, really like him.
Rub it in. Right, enough. How do we
Well, a great price, man.
What's this? Tom Central.
But I'd be seriously worried about a horse to come here, and he was second to Monkfish Lad, and I think he will come here. Because Paul Nolan's thrown Discaram in a race before, and I think latest exhibition will go here. Because I think he's no chance in the Marsh. He won't win the RSA. So I think he might throw him in here. Now, I'd be really worried about him if he did come here. I think he's the danger to Galvin. I think Galvin will win. But if latest exhibition here, he's a decent price. 14, 16 is knocked around there. I'd be very interested in him have another bet in the race if I have to on him, because he still has back form with all those good horses. As I said, keep repeating myself. Gabba Bartlett was the best race of the festival last year. It's proven now that it is. I know Fury Road was disappointing the last day. We'll get on to him later, but he doesn't win at Leopardstown. So it's Galvin for me. And if I was having a bet on the day, maybe latest exhibition be turned up.
Yep. I mean, he does deserve a mention as well, didn't he? Because we sort of got glossed over him being an RSA type. So the few that I thought were maybe worth mentioning, Matt kindly let me know earlier that we think maybe on the ropes could be, because we know Willie and Patrick would like to send someone in, like on the ropes could be one of them. He does still need to qualify, but like he's one at a price that still interests me slightly. The Wolf was pumped at Exeter the last day, but he ran pretty impressive before that. He's another one that's probably worth a mention at a big price. And then I think there was one more that I was semi-tempted to mention. Oh, yeah. Like, Jamie, don't swear at this bit, but Home by the Lead bled, didn't he, the other day?
Yeah.
And I don't, you can't be saying anything about bleeders, but I feel like, I'm not saying he would have won that race if he hadn't bled, but he would have won that race if he hadn't bled. And then I think he's obviously, Mark would go up, he stays, maybe everyone would have said, the step up in trips improved for him. I mean, I think he needs to qualify as well, but I'd give him a bit
You're clutching at straws there because you're not on a good price for Galvin. All right.
I know. I mean, yeah. The bottom line is, I feel like Galvin's the one. I still think he's a reasonable price now. If latest exhibition doesn't come here, then that I reckon that. Like, I know Daryl's said 11-4. I reckon he goes even short of that, mate. I reckon he's like sub 2-1 if nothing of any class comes here. But while the fact that there's a lingering bit that. Like, next destination going to go RSA, I think. But, latest exhibition could come here. The big breakaway could come here. I mean, Tizzards will probably stick him in the RSA, wouldn't they? But while there's that lingering bits that these horses could come here, that's probably why the price will hold. I think he's probably, at this point, if you're going to have a bet in the race, back him. Even if you've missed the price, don't be a mug like me.
Does anyone know where Happy Go Lucky's going to go? Or heard anything?
I do like Happy Go Lucky. See, the problem is I had Happy Go Lucky pinned as the... Close Brothers Chase winner, and then obviously they did that race, didn't they? But worth a mention because he's been pretty impressive so far, hasn't he?
Yeah. The other one I want to talk about quickly is that Aon. I know I keep mentioning to you, Dave, because he caught my eye in the Bartlett.
Stays Hurdle.
Stays Hurdle.
Or the Rich Richie horse. Or whatever it's called. Yeah. It'll probably be Patrick Mullen's ride because. It doesn't look like Willie Mullins has anything else for it.
Well, that one. I think that stays heard, and I've seen that come out on a couple of. I think a few people likes it the same as well. That's where I think this on the ropes. That might be the Willie Mullin one that comes here. But yeah, Happy Go Lucky's definitely worth a mention. That's the thing with it, innit? Like, there's probably a handful of horses you could probably see that they're going to shorten up, but you don't want to be backing all of them and hoping that you're getting a bit of value. I think. Probably this is the race we have to wait a little bit nearer the time and see what happens. But if nothing classy comes here, Galvin's the one. Like now, that 5-1 will be long gone. And as much as people are on at 20s and biggers, 5-1 now still could look pretty juicy come March, I think. But we'll just have to see how it pans out. So again, how much help have we been in this episode?
I'll tell you what, Matt, is that your shout, that on the ropes, is it?
Yeah, I mentioned when he was behind Monkfish, one in the first day, I think I mentioned to you, Dave, wasn't it? Yeah. I catch it.
That's a fair shout, that, mate.
That's a cheaply park horse, isn't it?
Yeah. I'll have a look at that later. Hold on.
It's pity if the on the ropes is. I agree with Dave. It's pity there's no novice handicap because you'd be thinking him for a novice handicap.
That's it. Yeah. Well, I reckon this is the key thing with this time of year, that some of these horses have obviously got to qualify, and there are quite a few races that come up now where, like, they're not going to be good enough to be winning the 3-mile novice chases, but they're going to be in there for qualification purposes. We might get smaller fields. So when we see some of these horses getting entered, as much as it's like a bit of an afterthought race, the National Hunt Chase, isn't it? Some of these horses that are going to be entered up, I just think it's worth, especially with the cash out option on there. You can sling a few quid at these ones at big prices, see how they go, and then try and pick some value. But we've mentioned loads of horses' names there, so stick them in your trackers and do the work yourself, basically. That wraps up. Done?
Sorry. No. So I was just going to say, we mentioned loads of horses and we're just claiming that this show gave you the winner of the National Hunt Chase.
We haven't got the winner somewhere, though. Right, we'll wrap up National Hunt Chase and then we'll move on to Wednesday.